Rewinding some of the greatest SummerSlam matches of all time, it is Wrestle Matts. We're going back to 1991, an Intercontinental Championship classic. It's Mr. Perfect, it's Bret Hart, and it's from the Garden, Matt Kelly. How we doing?
Of course it's from of course it's from the Garden. Where else would it possibly be from with WWF specifically?
We need the montage.
Yeah, exactly. No, but this one is such a classic. It's every sort of classic WWF feel that you could have. Like when I think about first starting watching wrestling for myself, this is the type of match that I would picture.
Yeah, and it's cool. This is one of the opening matches. Like we're saying second match on the card. This isn't a main event. This is a mid-card match. And I did think it was kind of cool. You see just how larger than life these personalities are. And right before this match starts, I don't know if you saw, there was a 6-man tag. And on one of the sides was Kerry Von Erich, the British Bulldog, and Ricky Steamboat. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, for a 6-man tag, you got those 3 guys on, that's what you're using them with. But that's how loaded WWE was in 91. This was the golden era of wrestling. And now you're getting basically a big man territory. And this is probably, other than Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat, some of the only guys, maybe Bret or Shawn Michaels, that could work the chain wrestling, the kind of smaller style of wrestling in the early 90s. That wasn't really a big thing.
Yeah, no. And I mean, if you watch this match, if you just went back and watched, say, Monday Night Raw or Night of Champions or this past week's SmackDown, and then you go turn on this match, you're like, what the hell? This is not at all the same thing. So it's wild to see the progression of the type of wrestling that we're getting, both in ring, with storytelling, with camera cuts, with just different athletic abilities, and the way that people are reacting, the way that fans are reacting. It's two completely different things. And I don't think sometimes as fans that we take enough time to sit here and realize, wow, this is really how far we've come, whether it's the entrances, whether it's the gear, whether it's the presentation, and just everything that goes into wrestling. It's vastly different from what we're seeing here in 1991.
Yeah, because WWE's only been really a big-time wrestling promotion for about 5 years at this point. And really, I don't even know. I mean, they didn't go, global or whatever till 98, 99. So this is still kind of a small-time company. What did you think of this 90s vibe, the swagger of Mr. Perfect and his outfit, Bret Hart with the pink jacket, and kind of, like you said, the visuals were a lot different, but I loved as they're walking down the entrance, the close-ups, they're right in their face. It was just a little different. What did you think of the presentation as far as Mr. Perfect with the coach blowing the whistle? He kind of, did you catch the promo right before?
I did catch, it's literally what I was about to say. I did catch that promo right before, and it was so simple, but so effective at the exact same time, especially when you're considering it's literally right before they're about to walk out and have this match. And so it just helps build that extra animosity, even if you had never seen wrestling a day in your life to that point, and you're out there in the crowd and you see Mr. Perfect caught that promo, you're like, oh, this guy's an asshole, just immediately. And so you know who you're cheering for, you know who the bad guy is, you know who you want to see get their ass kicked. I mean, it's so simple, but again, it's so effective when you do the little things like that so well. You just don't need much more than that. It sells itself.
When that was kind of the match vibe. It was very, very chain wrestling, very... Both guys, you can tell they're masters of their craft by the way they sell moves, by the way we kind of brought it up a little bit with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, how smooth they are. I wouldn't say it's a different kind of smooth, maybe not like that, but the way these guys sell and the way they take hits, nobody hits a turnbuckle better than Bret Hart.
Oh, and dude. That just... the pace at which they moved, even the pace at which I think it was Mr. Perfect took a headlock down to the ground at some point. Athletes, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the way they're taught to take bumps. Again, not a wrestler, not ever going to be, so I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, but it just looked sharper, cleaner, like it hit harder, more snug to your point. And when it looks like that, instead of kind of the little chaotic punches that we get and stuff like that in today's product, I'd much rather see a quick snapmare takedown or a quick head drag or something like that.
The reversals, man, like
reversal,
boom, boom,
yes.
boom, boom.
Give me that all day.
Well, and then they do so many of them, you both stand up, the crowd goes ape shit, like you own that moment, which I thought was cool. And then like it was overdone a little bit, maybe, but the hair drags, like they were fucking slinging each other around with the hair. And like to me, dude, like looking at Bret Hart in 91, what are your thoughts of Bret Hart because this is really, he goes from tag team to this is really his only like singles push. This is the beginning of Bret Hart as a singles wrestler.
But you can tell they're making it a big deal. And I think maybe this is where broadcasting got into this too, because they show Stu Hart out in the crowd. His dad, right? Both his mom and his dad are out there in the crowd. So if you got mom and dad looking on, you're a little bit more invested at home, knowing, okay, well, he's trying to show out in front of his parents, right? And he's got this legacy building. And so if you've got that literally right there, and you're wanting, Bret Hart to win the Intercontinental title for his dad or for his parents out there in the crowd, you're just that much. So like doing something little like that, just cutting to his parents every now and again, and then after the match, him going out to his parents, I think that just adds to everything that you want to see in building a superstar like Bret.
When I think Bret Hart had been a pro wrestler for like 16 years or something fucking crazy by then. Broken in like 73 or 75. So this guy's like probably mid 30s when he's finally getting his break. And that's like most wrestlers are like 23, 24, 25, like, and they're on TV. So it's just crazy. He had to pay all these dues. And then let's pivot to Perfect for a minute. To me, dude, Perfect, like he was a bigger guy, but he was a superior athlete, in my opinion. The way he moves, the way he just, everything he did, man, like I was like, dude, Perfect's got it. This match shows just how good he was in the ring, how good he sells, how good of a heel tactics. Like, to me, I think he did maybe this was like a cranked up version of Dolph Ziggler. Like,
okay, yeah,
a whole different vibe than Dolph Ziggler, but you saw like Shawn Michaels, where Dolph Ziggler got like some of these mannerisms where you're kind of over dramatic, but it worked for Perfect because he was he did more than just sell,
That way you almost took my answer away from me because my answer with Perfect that I wrote down was just his salesmanship was on a different level. And it's not always just about like, okay, he's selling it to make the move look well. It's like, oh man, at the same time, you're investing in Bret and his abilities and what he's able to do in the ring. It's not just about how Perfect takes it, which does look great, but it also reflects on your opponent, which in this case is Bret Hart and the guy that you're trying to get over. And just to touch on one other thing you said with Coach, it was kind of with his manager out there and blowing the whistle at times a little bit too much. Certainly in today's product, they would have never had his back turned to the hard cam side. Like he would have always been face forward, the way that you're able to see Paul Heyman or whoever it is out there as a manager. So a little bit of nuance there with that, but it does just add an extra layer of like, okay, this guy's annoying. His coach is annoying. Like, we don't like anything about this guy. He's calling himself perfect. Like, why don't we want to see this guy get his ass kicked,
Perfect for like early night and the whistle blowing, like just annoying the fuck out of you. Yeah. And I think it did a great job of like, Hart started off strong, took a beating, showed he could sell. And then at the end, you work. Perfect worked himself. I think he goes for like a leg drop across the balls or something, and Bret Hart catches him in the sharpshooter. Match is over. To me, this was a great match, and I do want to highlight one other thing. I think a move a lot of people, it might not hold up today, but the Perfect Plex, I think it's called a Fisherman Suplex.
Fisherman Suplex, yeah.
Dude, as a kid, this was my move. This was the move I used on the bunk beds. In the floor, like I could do it, and I loved it. I was like, dude, this is how I'm getting everybody. I'm getting all the wins, racking them up.
Yeah.
So it was just cool to see the fisherman suplex as a finish, kind of like the DDT. Maybe something doesn't have staying
Right.
power, but it was real cool as a kid getting those vibes. So we've got it. Bret Hart's your champion. He's on his way up. Perfect's doing his thing. 1 to 10, Matt Kelly. How you rating this bad boy?
So there is one little thing at the ending. I thought the ending was called just a little bit too quick. Just a little bit too quick.
Yeah.
I think he could have made perfect work for it, but I don't know if it was the referee or what, but it felt like Brett barely got him in the hold before he was already ringing the bell. So
Yeah.
I do think that detracted a little bit. Piper on commentary.
Yeah.
I love Piper, man, but he was yelling quite a bit.
Baloney.
He was yelling quite a bit. So that detracted a little bit for me. But in terms of like Perfect and Brett, man, that was really good. But it's so hard again to compare up against what you're seeing today, present day 2025. It's vastly different.
Yeah.
But for me, all things considered, I'm probably right there at about a 7.5 with this match.
All right. Yeah, and that's what's weird. We've watched these matches a little more present day, and a lot of them have these lull points, where we could say, okay, you can condense this by like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
We get a lot better feel. This one, like you said, it was the ending happened fast, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? So that kind of took away from it. That was kind of my only like hesitation was the ending of the match. I didn't really feel like it was too quick. And if it was going to be quick like that, you should have just done like a schoolboy or a roll up.
Right.
And gotten the same vibe. Like to me, if you're going to put him in the sharpshooter, like you got to drag that out just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
So to me, I'm such a homer for Golden Era wrestling. So to me, dude, I'm going 8.5.
Okay. I mean, I get why you like it.
It's just my style, and I love the vintage. Like everything about nostalgia just brings me back to, like I just feel like I'm a little bit less of a critic and I'm more invested. I think
I did like how it felt like the crowd was essentially on top of the ring. Like there wasn't a lot of room in between the actual ring itself and that old school just metal barricade. You know what I mean? It made it feel like there was no breathing room, and you're just just right there in their face.
Yeah, it was a good one. Check out our channel. We got all sorts of SummerSlam matches on the docket from past, present, and soon to be. Check us out here, Wrestle Matts.